Guys, like, I've never heard of something more chaotic in my life. Like, I thought having my notes being like 1,000 different things was chaotic enough. Hello lovely people, it's Kanisha. Welcome to my channel. In today's video, I'm actually going to go through my notes app because I don't know if anybody else is like me, but I literally put the most random things in my notes app, from inspirational quotes, my food shopping, to random links or things that I want to buy. And I just thought it'd be fun to go through some of my notes and sort of give you a bit more context about them, because honestly there are some gems in there that I never really know how to bring up in a video. So I thought, you know what, I can actually talk about a few of those things that I have found. So the first thing is a quote that I absolutely adore, and I honestly would get it tattooed on my body should I ever choose to get a tattoo. And it's this quote: "Wherever you go, there you are." And I remember seeing it in, was it a comment or someone made a video about it on TikTok? But when I read it, or when I heard it, it just struck me in the heart. And I was just like, wow, like, you can try to run to a different country. You can try to run away from like working on yourself or doing what you need to be doing, like the healing or growing yourself. Like, you can try to avoid that and find escapism in a new place, in new people, in new situations. But you have to remember that wherever you go, there you are. And there's different standpoints that you can take from this quote that can be like, oh my gosh, that's just so depressing. That's just like, nothing's going to change because wherever I go, it will still be the same. But personally, I choose to look at this in a really uplifting way, where it's like, wherever you go, there you are. It means that it is important to do that inner work. It is important to try to dig deep and to work on yourself, develop yourself, heal yourself, because you will take everything that you are into the next situation or into the next environment. But if you make time to do that kind of work, then there you are means that you'll be happy with what it is that you are embodying in that moment, in that place, in that new environment with that new person. So it's just an encouragement to say that you can always do the inner work, and that can mean that wherever you go as the next place, or whatever you have grown to become, evolves with you, and you take that to the next place. Let's get the random stuff out of the way. This is the notes that I wrote yesterday, and it's basically my food shopping list. So we just came back from being away for several days. We just needed stuff for breakfast and for that dinner. So this is what I picked up from Aldi. And let me tell you something, right? Cost of living has gone up so much, because I went to Aldi and I kid you not, I pretty much purchased every single thing on this list plus 2 mangoes, and it cost me £17. Back in the day, Aldi, for £17 I would have got a lot more. So I was very shocked that my shopping would even come to this price. But anyway, this is my Chinese order. This is what I ordered from the Chinese place. There you go. The next note we're going to talk about is when I attended virtually the Black Young Professionals Network Leadership Conference. So the theme of that year was knowledge is power, and across the day they invited so many different speakers from so many different lines of work, industries, to share their experiences about working in the UK as a black person, some of the knowledge that they've picked up, and really just empowering everybody listening, whether it was in person or virtually, to use these things in the workplace, to use this as they develop their careers, and to keep it in mind. So here are a few of the notes that I made. So one of the speakers had mentioned how you have to look for opportunities and be persistent. Another thing is a quote that I really liked when I first heard it. I can't remember who said it, but the quote is by David Carrigan, and it's, "A person who walks on eggshells to keep the peace will not make a noise." And I just loved this quote. I think often, sometimes, whether we are in workplaces or we're in an environment where there's lots of other people in there, we kind of feel like you're working on something. Sometimes you might be quiet just to maintain the peace or walk on eggshells, but if you do that, then you will never make noise. And sometimes we withhold our best ideas or just anything that may go against the grain in fear that it's going to keep the peace, when actually it's exactly what people were looking for. They were looking for you to challenge the status quo. They were looking for you to do something different. And so that really struck out to me, that a person who walks on eggshells will never make any noise. So I try to keep that in mind as I go through my life. The next thing that I wrote down here was learn how to stop pushing. There's no use in getting 5 out of 5 things done, but everyone in the room, when you leave it, says, gosh, I wouldn't want to work with them again. I really like this one because I think sometimes you can get caught up in a situation where you're working collaboratively with others, or you've approached others to help you with your idea or something that you need to get done, and it may feel like a win to get 5 out of 5 of those things done or in the pipeline, or just get people to agree on it. But is it worth getting 5 out of 5 if you know you have pushed people to an extreme where they just don't want to work with you again, or they have bad things to say about you? Maybe not. Maybe you need to stop pushing after getting 3 of those things, 4 of those things, and revisit the other 2 points with a better approach so the other person feels like they're getting stuff out of it too. So I thought that was really good to learn as someone early on in their career, because sometimes you can think the priority is to get that 5 out of 5, but what use is getting 5 out of 5 if you've burned bridges along the way? Like, it's better to try and maintain bridges and then revisit in the future. But yes, so those are my notes. I didn't share all of them because honestly there's just some that are just like so confusing. Like when I open it myself, I'm like, what was I talking about? Like, I have measurements in there that I don't know what it referred to, or random links, or just Netflix shows. Like, my notes is a place of dumping everything in there and then being lucky enough to rediscover things weeks later, months later. But I definitely do have my pinned notes that I have, which are things that I look at all the time, and makes it so much easier to sort through because it can be chaotic. And do you know one thing that I saw on Twitter the other day is this woman was talking about how she found out her husband has 1 note in his notes. So what that means is every time he wants to add something to his notes, he just adds it to that 1 note. So you've got like your food shop in there, you've got paragraphs in there, you've got another thing, like it's just 1 note. And apparently he just scrolls down and adds something new. He doesn't delete stuff, he just adds something new. And when she was like, okay, so do you just like search for keywords? He was like, I didn't even know you could search for things. Guys, like, I've never heard of something more chaotic in my life. Like, I thought having my notes being like 1,000 different things was chaotic enough, but to have it as just 1 long note, I didn't even think people did that. So there's different ways of doing it. This is how I approach my notes and some of the things that I've learned. Hopefully this was of value to you. But what's the most random thing in your notes? I'd love to know, comment that below. But thank you so much for watching today's video. I will catch you in my next one.